What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going over one that was actually pretty heavily requested ever since I got it in and did a first impressions. A lot of you want to know my full thoughts on this particular fragrance. We are talking about from Khadlaj. This is Shiyaaka Blue. The color's fitting, but you gotta like sweet. Let's discuss it. Stay tuned. So before we jump into it, Shiyaaka Blue was sent to me by the good folks over at Aroma Concepts. If you're interested in picking this fragrance up, there's a link to both websites, both the North American market and the European market, with 10% off code if you want to check this one out. But let's take a look at this presentation. So worth checking out the box. I do have Shiyaaka Red, which is a clone of Reflection Man. Here, we'll discuss in a moment with the aroma, but love blue. Blue's my favorite color with this kind of graphite gray metallic. It's actually quite nice. And then there's some fragrance notes on the back of the box, which is always nice. You have more information on the bottom, but I mean, it's just a box. Then as far as the bottle, looks just like the others in the line, only this one's blue. The original is red. That blue metallic on the plate with the blue glass definitely does catch my eye a bit more than the red, because like I said, blue is my favorite color. This is not super sharp, but quite the, I guess, tactile raised studded appeal here. It's a hefty bottle. This is a thick glass base. And you have some info on the bottom. Cap does click into place, though not the strongest thing, but it does pretty well. And then, you know, it's a large cap, kind of gimmicky, but it fits the bottle. And the atomizer, it's actually got a pretty good atomizer, as you can see. Now let's discuss this scent. So I have the notes on screen for you guys. So this note doesn't paint the full picture. It's a very blue, flowery, blue fragrance mixed with florals. And you do get a lot of these notes. I'm not saying these notes aren't detectable. But the inherent sweetness here, I don't think it's just vanilla. I have it on. I have several sprays on. I'm wearing it today, in fact. It's quite nice. There's a little bit of a spiciness here. You do get the floral approach, but it's not super flowery. What the florals do here is offer a powdery tone. This is a slightly powdery, moderately sweet blue fragrance. The color is fitting. It does evoke that of a blue fragrance. The spiciness here kind of grounds it. It's supposedly similar to Scandal from Jean-Paul Gaultier, which I don't have a bunch of experience with. I have smelled that once, I think. It was very caramel sweet, and which kind of relates to the sweetness I get here. And I have a decant of the Le Parfum, which again kind of relates to this, so I can see where the comparisons are. I just don't have enough experience with that to say yes or no, it smells exactly like it, so I just judge it as an individual like I always do with these fragrances. But I guess if Scandal was a blue fragrance, here you go. Because it does have a lot of aromatics in the top. I don't get much citrus. I don't really get much of these green notes, but I do get the florals. It doesn't dominate with rose, and I don't get a distinctive, just hefty dose of iris. It's this nice soft floral heart. Do get a little bit of a floral tone that offers that powdery nuance that I was saying. There's, like I said, spiciness. There's a sweetness here that I don't just think is vanilla. Like I said, it does kind of smell like the caramel sweetness that you get from, at least from what I remember of Jean-Paul Gaultier Scandal. But overall, very versatile as far as sweet fragrances are concerned, because it's not too sweet. And then as far as powdery, if you're not a fan of powdery, it's also not too powdery. I have a bunch of fragrances that are much more powdery than this that I wouldn't even consider powder bombs. This is far and wide not a powder bomb. Oh, it smells so lovely out the atomizer. So no real soapiness here, no dominance in citrus. What you mainly get here is a nice soft floral heart with some aromatics, soft and powdery, with this very distinctive soft powdery sweet type of tone that almost has a caramel-like feel with some spices. It's basically what it comes down to. It's actually very nice. It's a little warm, but I wouldn't call it a heavy ambery accord. This is actually pretty nice. Like I said, you could do a lot worse with some blue fragrances. The quality here is actually really good. This doesn't smell riddled with synthetics like most modern blue fragrances. Like I said, I would categorize this as a blue, but more of a sweet and powdery blue overall. It's kind of a different take, if you will, on the blue fragrance, because From what I remember about Scandal, this doesn't smell exactly like Scandal from what I remember of it, but I do get that caramel sweetness from it that I think relates directly to it. So performance, this one lasts a long time. It's not overwhelmingly loud, but it lasts a long time. I've been getting 8+ hours easily, going to that 8 to 10 hour range. This one's a very good performer. More longevity than most would need in their day, but I'm sure it's appreciated by a lot of people. Everybody's day is different. Maybe you need 12 hours. 8 to 10 is good for me. Projection is on the moderate to maybe a little bit better than arm's reach range for about an hour. Then the second hour, it gets a bit close to the skin, but I wouldn't say it calms down greatly. But it does start to weaken and get a little bit close to the skin. As time goes on, that's natural with the fragrances. The sillage that's left behind is more on the moderate side, though. Not quite moderate to mild, because I do get pretty decent whiffs of it throughout my wearings, where it's not just a light little faint aroma from time to time. I get decent strength hits of it here and there, so I would consider the sillage in the moderate range. It doesn't calm down too much from the projection that you get. It's pretty consistent overall in its performance, so across the board it's kind of above average, I would say. Slightly above average, we'll call it, because it's pretty long lasting. It's relatively strong. It's not super strong, but the sillage I would consider, kind of relatively strong. Final thoughts on Shiyaaka Blue. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Do I see myself reaching for this just nonstop all the time? No, I don't really have any fragrance that's the case, because I just have so many. I'm always testing new things and such. But this was nice. This was really nice. I do like Shiyaaka, the red one, more because it's a clone of Reflection Man. Reflection Man's one of my all-time favorite fragrances. So I do like that one a little bit more than this one, but I still think this is a very good fragrance. I think this would do well in a lot of people's collection. I think a lot of people would have appreciation for this one if you're tired of the same old same with blues. With that, I think it's very good at a 7.5 out of 10. There's some good stuff. There's nothing to dislike about this unless you don't like sweet. There is sweetness here, but not super sweet. Just distinctive sweet, I guess would be the best way to put it, with a soft powdery nature. It's, even though the heart shows full of flowers, it's not super floral dominant, at least not on my skin. I would say it's nothing to fear if you're iffy about florals and powder, because you do get a little bit of that, but it's not overrun with it. The spices, the aromatics, and the sweetness kind of star in this particular fragrance. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Shiyaaka Blue from Khadlaj. Thank you once again to Aroma Concepts for sending this my way. This is actually a welcomed addition to my collection. I like this one quite a bit. Not the best fragrance I've smelled from the house, but one of the best fragrances I've smelled from the house for sure. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Shiyaaka Blue from Khadlaj and you give it a spray now, who knows? You might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.